So this session is about a bunch of extra annotations from JSRs that the Spring recognizes them and allows the users to use them as well. So we've been actually working with add component annotation and add qualifier annotation along these videos. And as you know, the add component is for defining a bean definition. And also the add qualifier was used for helping the Spring to resolve the ambiguity and select and choose one of the candidates that could be used in the injection point. So in this session, we are first going to learn about this new annotation that is add managed bean. So if you've actually watched the history part, the history episode that we had, you should remember that there was this annotation named managed bean that was inside JSR. I think it was inside JSF. I've forgotten the number, and it was actually for defining something like the components that we have here. So we could use the add managed bean. As you can see, it is inside javax.annotation package. We could use this one instead of the add component, and it will be exactly the same. You know, the functionality will be exactly the same. There is this other annotation that we could use as well instead of component, which is the add named annotation. And the add named annotation is from JSR-330. So this annotation is, again, exactly like the add component annotation. So if we leave the name as is, and if we don't give the value, it will, let me just run it and prove it that it works. So here, let's change it to engine because we've got two engines and it will. So let me get rid of this and let me put add auto-wired. Okay. Now it should resolve the engine. Okay. And you can see the car is being detected. The car actually, no, sorry, the engine is being detected. The engine is annotated with add named, not add component. So these two annotations actually are capable of being used instead of the add component annotation. And these are from outside the Spring. These are from the JSRs that Spring recognizes them. Now, there is one special usage for the add named, not the managed bean. For the add named annotation, we could use it at the injection point as well. So not only we could use it on top of the class for defining a bean definition, we could use it at injection points to help the Spring to select between the bean definitions. So here we could use it on any injection point, on top of the fields, on top of the parameters of the constructor or methods, like the qualifiers. You know, it seems that it acts like qualifiers, but it has a bunch of subtle differences that I'll mention it now. So let me create a constructor here because we've been using this field injection point a lot, but I'm going to, and we've been using this with in the qualifier session, in the other sessions that we were talking about primary and other stuff. And you must actually know that for the sake of the example, we are using this injection point, the field, but you could use those things that we've been talked about on top of any injection point. So let's have an engine here. Let's ask for an engine here. And let's get rid of this add auto-wire. And let's put this .e engine equals E. Okay. Now, this will be the injection point. There is no need to add auto-wire it or add inject it. We could not actually put add resource, as you know, because the resource could not be used on top of constructors. It could be only used on top of fields and setter methods with only one parameter. So as you remember, the resource @resource was used for a special kind of key. We named it combinatorial keys. By using the @resource, we were indicating exactly the bean definition name, that unique name that we were seeking, and also the type. So we were indicating and specifying both the type and the bean definition name. But it had some shortcomings and limitations. One of them was that we could not use it on top of the constructor. But we could use the @named annotation on top of the field or on top of the parameters. You know, we might have a bunch of parameters here, and we could use the @named on top of each parameters. So what it does is that it seems that it is a kind of a qualifier. It acts kind of a qualifier here, but it has differences with the qualifier. When we give the name, when we say engine, for example, if I run it, you'll see that it chooses the engine, and if we give the super engine, it will choose the super engine. Now, if, for example, one of them, let's say that has the qualifier, some qualifier like ABC, whatever. Now here, let's say that we are looking for ABC, the qualifier with ABC, but it won't work. Let me just prove you that it won't work. And the reason that it won't work is that the @named annotation is not like @qualifier. The @named will only look for the bean definition name, will exactly resolve a single bean definition that has that name. But the qualifier, we could have multiple qualifiers, and the qualifiers actually did not have to be unique. But this one is acting like @resource annotation, but this time we could use it on top of the parameters and on top of the fields as well. So using @named annotation is like actually not using it and changing the name of the injection point, so that actually when we intend that the injection point name will match one of the bean definition names. So when we, for example, change this name to engine with the intention that we are doing this intentionally, and we are saying that, indicating that it will be matched with one of the candidates with their bean definitions, of course, not with their qualifiers. So let me change it to super engine as well. We've done it actually before. It's not anything new here. Yep. So as you see, when there is no qualifier whatsoever on top of the injection point, we could do the same thing here, and it would use this name as the name of the bean definition that it was going to search among the candidates. So when we actually don't use any qualifiers and we lean on using the name of the injection point, it is like using that @named annotation. The effect is exactly the same, because these names won't be compared against the qualifiers. These names will only be compared against the bean definition names. So, but by using the @named annotation is very useful. By using the @named annotation, we are actually loosening up this name, because when we depend on this name, when we lean on this name, it will be coupled to Spring. But when we add the @named annotation, we are actually freeing this name to be whatever, A, for example, whatever. And then we could override it here. We could say, for example, we are looking for a bean definition with name, I don't know, super engine. So that was actually the @named annotation and the @managed bean annotation. So we could use the @managed bean annotation as an equivalent for the component annotation, and we could use the @named annotation for two reasons. One, we could use it as the replacement for the add component, and the second usage was we could use it at the injection point on top of the fields and parameters on any kind of injection point. And by using that, we were signaling the string that we are looking for a bean definition with that exact name.